Hello to all my fellow world-changing superheroes out there. I'm coming at you just with a quick message from my home to yours and just a few words as we approach what I think could end up being the most important day in your lifetime and mine. November 6, 2018. We are creeping up upon the 100-day mark before a critical election. We're at about 109 days right now. And I just wanted to check in with everyone. I am crafting a 100-day plan of how we're going to win these midterm elections. There are tons of organizations out there, by the way, doing this great work. So this is nothing that lots of, hopefully millions of people out there aren't also working on, but I'm crafting my own individual 100-day plan. And I wanted to give you all a couple suggestions of what all of us can do right now to live like a hero, as my shirt says, and make America kind again, and to really focus on how are we preserving the essential rights and freedoms and democracies, women's rights, civil rights, immigrants' rights, reproductive rights, our right to vote, that are all under threat and that we need to win back power in Congress, in the House of Representatives, and in the Senate in order to balance out. Because at this point, I think if you've been watching the news and following along, you, like me, have probably lost a little bit of faith in the Republican Party to do the right thing right now. So as long as we know that we can't really count on the Republicans to stand up against Trump and stand up against Trump's buddy Putin, this murderous authoritarian leader who poisons journalists and opponents, who's really not our friend, who really hates democracy. So we don't want to emulate Putin, right? Let's not be like Putin. So we need people in Congress who will stand up. And the Democrats actually are standing up. Unfortunately, we do not have the majority in any branch of government at the moment, and that makes things challenging. But we can win that back. And we, the people in this country, are the majority. The majority voted for Hillary Clinton. We beat him by 3 million popular votes, and that election was a couple years ago, so we're not going to focus on that. But wherever you stood during that election cycle, if you are somebody who cares about women's rights and civil rights and immigrants' rights and human rights and making America kind again, as my hat says, and we all need to kind of work together collectively to make sure that we have greater turnout in the midterm elections than ever before in history, that we show Donald Trump and we show the Republican Party that we're serious and we are the majority, and that we get out there and we campaign and we vote. So I'm going to give you a couple simple action steps as we get closer to that 100-day mark. Number one would be literally please mark on your calendars now Tuesday, November 6, 2018. That is election day. That is, like I said, potentially the most important day of our lifetimes, because this 242-year-old experiment called American democracy in the United States of America really is genuinely at risk right now. So in order for us to ensure that we preserve the checks and balances that our Constitution stipulated would be a part of government, we need to have the majority in some of the houses of government as well. There are 435 seats up in the House of Representatives, but a lot of them are in swing districts. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that as well, how we can win back some of the critical districts that were just won by a slim margin by Republicans the last time. Also, in the last midterm elections in 2014, these elections in between those 4-year presidential cycles, there was really low turnout. We need to bump that up, right? So the number one thing is going to be we all make November 6, 2018 a priority. We all know it's on our calendars, it's in our phones, it's in our day planners. We're planning ahead for it. If you can, block off the weekend before November 6, 2018 to be part of a Get Out the Vote campaign weekend for a campaign you care about. There's likely a swing district somewhere near you where a congressional candidate could definitely use the extra help, knocking on doors, making phone calls the week before the election. So obviously campaigning now is great, starting now is great, but allocating the time that weekend right before the election weekend, I feel like all of us who are true patriots who care about keeping the experiment and democracy going in our country and preserving the rights and freedoms of all the people we love, And really, like, I want to preserve rights and freedoms for all 325 million Americans, whether or not you agree with me. So I'm standing up for all of us, but we need to have that date on our calendars of Election Day. And honestly, I think we should all be out there campaigning the weekend before. So really make sure that you're set in terms of your work schedule, your childcare schedule, or you're bringing your kids on the campaign trail with you, and that you're ready for November 6, 2018. Number 2 is I would really recommend that we all now adopt at least one swing district where we're committed to helping with that election, whether that means giving $5. Give more if you can, obviously. If you can just give $5, you know, millions of people giving $5 makes a difference, right? Every bit makes a difference. The phone calls people make a difference. You can adopt a swing district right now by going to www.swingleft.org. Again, it's www.swingleft.org. This incredible organization has been around since right after the 2016 election, and they have been getting ready to win back these swing districts, which are districts where Republicans won by a very slim margin, and Democrats absolutely can flip those seats back to win the majority in the House. These are very winnable races. So we want to have this blue wave, we want to have this blue tsunami, and if we all adopt a swing district in New York State, the District 19, which is currently occupied by John Faso, is up for grabs, and we're going to win that back. In District 21, Tedra Cobb is a Democrat who's a really strong candidate who's out there, and we want to try to knock Elise Stefanik, who's the Republican, out. So we can win back these districts. But if you go to swingleft.org, you can type in your zip code, you can check out the swing districts near you. You can figure out if there's one you'd like to kind of adopt for the elections, maybe plan to travel there the weekend before the election, plan to give what you can, plan to knock on some doors. Number 3, and this is actually super critical for all of us. This might seem basic, but this is not a time when we can take things for granted in our democracy. Call your local board of elections to ensure that your voter registration is current, especially in some of the red states. They've been looking to try to implement more voter suppression tactics that are a little sneaky. So in certain states, it's legal for people to be kicked off the voter rolls if you haven't voted in the past several elections. So I would just double check, no matter where you live, that you are still registered to vote, that you know where you're registered to vote, that you know where your polling place is, and that you are current and that you are ready to go for November 6, 2018. Obviously, if you're not registered for any reason, that is the single most important thing you can do, is to make sure you're ready to vote. And please encourage all of your friends and family, even if they think they're all set. This is really a time where, you know, the roots of our democracy, the foundation, is being shaken a little bit. So we all just need to step up, live like a hero, make America kind again, right? And really do our part. And part of that, the most essential civic duty we all have, the number one thing, the most simple thing, is to vote. Okay, so make sure your voter registration is current. Make sure your friends' voter registrations are current. Number 4, if you'd like to really be out there doing more right now, there are some terrific initiatives already happening. The Parkland survivors, these incredible high school kids who were survivors of a mass shooting and who've been such strong voices standing up against the NRA and standing up against members of Congress who have sold themselves out to the NRA. They're cross country right now doing a voter registration drive for young people around the country. You could look up the cities they'll be traveling to and join in with their efforts. You could look in local campaigns around you and tap into a voter registration program. You could find a college campus near you and be a person who checks in with them to figure out, you know, is there anybody on campus registering students to vote in the fall? And can you be an active part of that process? The more young people, especially, that we register to vote, you know, the younger generation absolutely votes blue. When you look at a map of the United States, it's more progressive. People are more civically engaged at younger ages than ever before. High school students are really fighting to stay alive in their high schools, which is insane, but it means that they're very dedicated to the civic process, and they know that the vote counts. So you could be part of voter registration drives. Above and beyond that, I don't want to get into too much detail today just because I'm trying to give a simple message to gear us all up for November 6, 2018. If you want a little more inspiration, I just picked up this book, Yes, We Still Can, by Dan Pfeiffer, who was a former White House communications director. He's a co-host of Pod Save America with Jon Favreau and some other terrific Obama peeps. He's fabulous. And this can give some inspiration and also some kind of background. How did we get to this place where we are? But really, I want us all to keep the faith and stay strong and know that these are winnable elections. We can take back the House, we can take back the Senate, but we all need to be united and make that a unified cause, that we're really standing up for the future of our country, that we're all willing to put in a little extra effort and live like a hero for these next couple months, you know, to go above and beyond our own comfort zone and step up for our country. Yeah, I feel very blessed to live in the United States of America. Things are a little crazy right now, and I'd like to preserve this experiment in democracy. So if you're with me, I hope you'll get on board. We're almost at that 100-day mark. Put November 6, 2018 in your calendar. Get ready to live like a hero. Get ready to make America kind again. And let's just do this, right? I surround myself with my heroes to remind me why I do what I do and who I'm trying to be in the world, right? So let's all be the hero. Okay, lots of love to everybody.